Robert Picardo's Star Trek wish from 4 years ago has almost completely come true. When Robert Picardo first joined Star Trek Voyager in 1995, he played a character who was never meant to exist beyond a medical emergency. The emergency medical hologram, later simply the Doctor, was supposed to be a temporary program, a tool to keep the ship running. But Picardo transformed that digital non-entity into one of Star Trek's most beloved characters. Funny, neurotic, brilliant, and surprisingly human. Yet for all the affection Trekkies have held for the Doctor over the decades, Picardo spent years watching as the franchise surged forward. New shows, new casts, new nostalgia waves, without ever fully circling back to Voyager. But roughly 4 years ago, he expressed a specific wish about Star Trek's future. He wanted the franchise to bring legacy Voyager characters back into the spotlight again, not just as cameos, but in ways that would genuinely impact modern Star Trek storytelling. Today, that wish has almost completely come true, and the way it finally happened is something even the Doctor himself would probably call delightfully inefficient, but emotionally rewarding. Picardo's wish. Let Voyager live again. In interviews from around 2021, Picardo made it clear that he believed Voyager had more to give. While The Next Generation had gotten movies, and Deep Space Nine had become a critical darling with renewed fandom energy, Voyager often seemed like the forgotten middle child, fondly remembered, but rarely revisited in any meaningful canonical way. Picardo's wish wasn't just, bring the Doctor back. Instead, his ideal future for Star Trek involved a broader acknowledgement that the Voyager crew was just as essential to the legacy of the franchise as Kirk's, Picard's, or Sisko's. He hoped for 1. A deeper presence for Seven of Nine in the modern era. 2. A continuation, or at least recognition, of the Doctor's groundbreaking evolution. 3. Major storylines acknowledging Voyager's return to the Alpha Quadrant. 4. A chance for Voyager-era characters to directly shape Starfleet's future. At the time, this seemed like a long shot. Star Trek was experimenting with anthology approaches and new timelines. Picard Season 1 was still controversial. There was no guarantee nostalgia would flow toward the Delta Quadrant. But then the tide turned, fast. The 7 of 9 explosion. The first step toward fulfillment. The first piece of Picardo's wish began unfolding almost immediately. 7 of 9 became one of the central figures of Star Trek, Picard. What started as a late series reintroduction turned into a full-on renaissance. She became arguably the emotional core of Picard Season 2. She took command roles that mirrored Janeway's mentoring of her. She was named captain of the Enterprise G by the finale of Season 3, completing one of the franchise's greatest arcs. Seven's meteoric rise is not just fan service, it's the ultimate validation of Voyager's cultural relevance. Her journey from Borg drone to the captain of the Enterprise proved that Voyager alumni could lead the future of Star Trek just as powerfully as any other era's icons. Picardo openly celebrated Jerry Ryan's success, noting that Seven's resurgence represented exactly the kind of Voyager-centered storytelling he always hoped to see. While the Doctor hadn't yet returned, Picardo's wish was undeniably taking shape. Voyager references and legacy moments began pouring in. Over the next few years, Star Trek writers drew more heavily from Voyager continuity than ever before. Janeway became central to Prodigy. The entire premise of Prodigy's first season revolved around a lost Voyager-era training ship. The show treated Janeway, Chakotay, and the original Voyager mission as defining pieces of Federation history. The Borg plots in Picard's Season 3 included direct philosophical echoes of Seven's Voyager years. Starfleet Academy and other upcoming series began referencing post-Voyager policies and scientific breakthroughs. Even Lower Decks leaned heavily on Voyager nostalgia, using gags and episodes exploring the ship's Delta Quadrant legacy in affectionate, deeply nerdy ways. Picardo's wish wasn't just coming true, it was expanding in directions fans hadn't predicted. The Doctor's return. The one piece of the wish still pending. Of all the Voyager alumni, the Doctor is arguably the character whose future holds the most potential. He's a program with effectively infinite lifespan, a figure who challenged legal and ethical definitions of personhood, a walking metaphor for AI sentience, more relevant today than ever, a character who grew from tool to artist, author, and self-actualized individual. Picardo's wish specifically included exploring where the Doctor would be now. While the franchise has not yet given him a full canonical return, several major developments in the past 4 years show that this is closer than ever. 1. Star Trek. Prodigy openly teased an EMH Mark I upgrade. Hints indicated that redesigning or revisiting the EMH program was on the table, an obvious doorway for Picardo. 2 executive producers confirmed interest in bringing Picardo back. Even showrunners from live-action productions mentioned they had ideas, but were waiting for the right story. 3. Picardo himself confirmed ongoing talks. He stated that conversations about returning had been happening, but timing, continuity, and narrative structure had to align. 4. AI themes have become central across modern Star Trek. Strange New Worlds, Discovery's later seasons, and Picard all dealt with synthetic life, making the Doctor's perspective more relevant than ever. 5. Fan demand is at an all-time high. Every convention panel featuring Picardo includes questions about his return, and social media campaigns routinely trend. The only thing missing now is the official announcement. The final puzzle piece in Picardo's 4-year-old wish. 2025. The moment where almost all of Picardo's wish has come true. So, where does that leave things in 2025? Picardo's wish from 4 years ago wasn't just about nostalgia. It was about recognition, about honoring Voyager as a defining part of the Star Trek legacy rather than treating it as an isolated 90s experiment. Today, 7 of 9 is the captain of the Enterprise. Janeway is more present in Star Trek than she's been in 20 years. Voyager continuity is shaping Starfleet's future. Voyager technology and history are repeatedly central to new storylines. Audiences have re-evaluated Voyager, elevating it to the same tier as DS9 and TNG. Interest in the Doctor's return is strong enough that it feels inevitable. In other words, the only portion of Picardo's wish left unfulfilled is his own physical reappearance, which feels like a matter of when, not if. Why the Doctor's return would matter so much now. If, or when, Picardo finally steps back into the Star Trek universe, the timing would be perfect. Star Trek has shifted dramatically from 2020 to 2025. Its themes now explore the future of intelligence, artificial or otherwise, far more seriously than before. The Doctor is the franchise's original exploration of AI philosophy. Imagine the possibilities. One modern Starfleet grappling with AI ethics could seek the Doctor's expertise. He was arguing for hologram rights decades before androids were widely accepted. 2. An older, wiser Doctor could appear as a mentor, diplomat, or scientist, not just a medic, but an ambassador for artificial life. 3. The Enterprise G's crew could rely on the Doctor during a crisis. 7. And the Doctor reuniting would be an emotional goldmine. 4. A medical mystery could require the original EMH's unique adaptability. 5. Starfleet Academy could feature him as a holographic instructor. A fun, thematic, and perfectly logical way to bring him back long-term. And Picardo, still active, sharp, and enthusiastic, could slide back into the role effortlessly. How close are we to the wish being 100% complete? If Picardo's 4-year-old wish were a checklist, it would look something like this. Wish element status. 7 of 9 taking a major lead role complete. Voyager treated as essential canon complete. Legacy Voyager characters shaping the future complete. Doctor's evolution